Denmark's GDP contracts 0.1% in data out today as domestic demand is sluggish and exports drop. Now, as potential ECB easing looms in the very near future, let's look at the role Denmark has to play. I'm joined by Jacob Graven, Chief Economist with Sydbank. So Jacob, a drop in exports and stagnant domestic demand saw Denmark's GDP contract for the third quarter, shrinking by 0.1%. What are you taking away from this figure, and what does it mean for the Danish economy?
I'm not too concerned about this 1 quarter of negative growth in the Danish economy. We have had 8 consecutive quarters with positive growth rates. That's actually very rarely seen in Denmark, that we have 8 quarters in a row with positive growth. So seen from that point of view, it is in no way unusual that we have just one quarter with slightly negative growth. But of course, you have to look also looking forward and see if this is likely just to be a short-term negative growth period, and if growth is expected to come back. And we certainly do believe that there are very good reasons to believe that the growth will come back to the Danish economy over the next quarters and over the next year.
Denmark's government has cut its forecast for economic expansion to 1.5% this year and 1.9% for 2016, again citing a slow recovery in domestic demand. You talk about good reasons to believe that growth will come back to the Danish economy. Can you expand on this?
Yes, one of the most positive things about the Danish economy, at least looking at growth prospects, is that private consumption is actually developing pretty well. Even though it came to a standstill in the third quarter, we have seen an expansion of around 2.5% over the last year, and we certainly believe there are good reasons to expect that private consumption can increase by something like that also in 2016. That is growth around 2.5% in private consumption, and there are multiple reasons for this. One of them is that real wages are going up. New jobs are being created, and we have house prices going up in general over most of the country. So for these reasons, I think there's every reason to believe that private consumption will be the main growth driver over the next year. But of course, the Danish economy is very much dependent on developments in the rest of Europe. So if this upswing in the European economy that we are seeing at the moment, if that can continue over the next year, there are every reason to believe that also the Danish economy will have quite positive growth. We believe in 2% GDP growth next year, and that will, if that comes through, will be the highest growth in Denmark for 10 years.
You said there that Denmark is dependent on developments in the rest of Europe. Continuing in that vein of thought, everyone will be focusing on the ECB this week. It's generally expected more easing is on the cards. Depending on the outcome of the decision, how do you think Denmark will play into this?
Well, of course, Denmark, we are pursuing a fixed exchange rate policy versus the euro, so it's very, very important to the Danish economy, the monetary policy from the European Central Bank. And if the ECB is going to cut rates, as we believe this week, of course that will filter through also to the Danish economy, and that is one of the main reasons why the housing market in Denmark is on an upturn and is highly likely to continue in 2016 with record low interest rates, and that is one of the main reasons why we believe that there are very good chances that growth will come back to the Danish economy over the next quarters, and pretty healthy growth over the next year.
That was Jacob Graven, Chief Economist with Sydbank, with me there, looking at the latest developments in the Danish economy. Now, for more insight and analysis just like this, make sure you keep clicking back to Dukascopy TV. For now though, it's goodbye.